News, and we're staying with this developing story where the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Ltd has begun the loading of premium motor spirit at the Dangote refinery in Lagos. The loading began at about 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time, starting with 10 trucks at the refinery loading gantry 4. Vice President of Dangote Industries, Deva Kuma Edwin, while monitoring the lifting of the PMS, said the refinery has the capacity to load several trucks at once. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zacchaeus Adedeji, have visited the refinery to see things for themselves. Mr. Wale Edun, while addressing journalists, commended Aliko Dangote for the vision and reinstates the federal government commitment to supporting the refinery to boost export and foreign exchange and enhance PMS availability in the country.
PMS is feeding the neighboring countries. Let it be done legitimately, let it be done formally or officially, and of course, that too will give us extra foreign exchange revenue, which is all important for our overall well-being of the economy. Energy security, as I said earlier, is a key step in the industrialization of Nigeria.
In the meantime, the Executive Vice President of the downstream at Nigerian National Petroleum Company Ltd, Adedapo Shegun, says the NNPCL will not set the market price of petrol. Instead, global market forces will dictate the price. He emphasized that NNPCL is no longer a regulator in the oil and gas market, but operates as a business entity like others. Business editor Tolulope Ogunjobi has details in this report.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Ltd has clarified that petrol pricing in Nigeria cannot be directly compared with other developed markets because the country still modulates pricing to ensure general affordability. During a media chat with senior media practitioners in Lagos, Executive Vice President downstream at the NNPCL, Mr. Dapo Shegun, explained that despite reaching an agreement with the management of Dangote Refinery, the issue of pricing remains market-driven.
NNPC is not a regulator. NNPC has no regulatory powers. We can say NNPC sets the price. Definitely government is not involved. It's basically the market forces that set the price. So Dangote says to us, this is how much I want for it. And we say, hey, Dangote, if we go out there, we can get it for this much. So we won't pay you this much for it. And we go into the negotiation. And that negotiation, it took us over a week to complete that negotiation. They'll come with their position, we'll come with a counter, they come with a revised position, we'll counter it. And at the end of the day, we were able to reach an agreement on the price to pay for it.
Regarding the Naira for crude deal instituted by the federal government, Mr. Shegun stated that this is merely a payment solution and will not necessarily impact pricing. He also refuted allegations of herding crude oil supplies to local refineries.
The transactions are still going to be in the natural currency, US dollars, but payment now will be done in Naira. So refinery buys a barrel of crude for $80. It's still $80. When the payment is due, that payment will be converted on that due date to Naira, and it will be paid in Naira. Marketer, which NNPC is one, goes to refinery, buys products in bulk in dollars. When that payment is due, instead of NNPC going to chase dollars in the market, NNPC pays for that product in Naira. So that's what it is. It's a simple payment solution, no more, no less.
The federal government had previously informed Nigerians that loading of petrol from Dangote Refinery will commence on Sunday, September 15, 2024. Mr. Shegun added that starting from October 1st, NNPCL will supply approximately 385,000 barrels per day of crude oil to the Dangote Refinery, to be paid for in Naira. Tolulope Ogunjobi, TVC News, Lagos.
Now, more than a week after the first oil spill along Ogboingbiri-Tebidaba pipeline in Bayelsa State, residents of the community and environment activists are calling for urgent intervention. This comes just as the oil spill continues to contaminate fish ponds and arable lands along its path. Joseph Kunde has more of this.
This seems like a normal pathway into the Ogboingbiri forest, but it is the pipeline right-of-way leading to the point of a recent oil spill still spreading across the forest due to a lack of effective containment measures in place.
Right inside the swamp, everywhere is crude oil.
As part of Oil Mining License 63, the community plays host to the Ogboingbiri gas plant and flow station established in 1989 and operated by the Nigerian Oil Company till a recent takeover of its oil onshore field by an indigenous oil company, Oando. Like most oil-producing communities, Ogboingbiri has experienced several oil spill incidents over the years, some of which were officially declared as equipment failures. However, the community is unhappy with the way oil spill-impacted sites are often left uncleaned, but rather allegedly setting such sites ablaze, referring to a 2021 incident.
Some days ago, there was a recent oil spillage that occurred as a result of corrosion in oil pipelines by Ajib. Recently, we've heard that they've been taken over by Oando, but continuously, this is a continuous act by the oil companies around us, not necessarily taking out proper cleanup in the environment, and we are trying to reach out to the world and the government of the day to come to our aid. You can see the remains of dead trees, telling the story of how this particular environment in 2021 suffered a major oil spill, and instead of to clean up, the environment was set ablaze. We reliably gathered from community folks that that was what happened here. Those who will go after crayfish and the special swamp area fish that they get every year, they will deny, the people of Ogboingbiri will be denied that this year.
Ikenga Genesis is a fish farmer whose fishing routes and ponds have become casualties to the unfortunate oil spill, which has continued to spread in the environment with negative impacts in the swamp and arable farmlands along its path.
My farm is also affected. Most of my farm, the worst of all, my old mother's pond is affected. And you know, as people in the riverine area, in this area, it is farm work and fish farming. Now this is September. These are only means of livelihood. So what we need now is a cleanup.
Confirmed documents of a joint investigation visit by relevant key players, including the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency and the Bayelsa State Ministry of Environment, reveal equipment failure as the cause of the oil spill. But delayed environmental action means the spill will continue to spread way beyond the scope already captured in the reports.
For the GIV that has been done promptly, which we had is also as a result of equipment failure, Oando should follow up that GIV immediately. Oil companies should have a contingency plan that immediately after GIV, a contractor for cleanup and remediation would just be mobilized to site.
While a case is made for the immediate cleanup of the environment, the community also seeks better relations with the company, especially in the response to emergencies such as oil spills.
The original measurement is more like a mirage, it's fake. It's not the true measurement. Urgent action should be taken. Then at the same time, I want to call on state and federal governments to deliberately make laws, policies, to make pollution cases like this have a very punitive fine.
Figures from the Global Energy Monitor show that the Ogboingbiri oil field produces over 5.6 million cubic meters of crude oil per year.
The constant downpour only means one thing: the consistent spread of the spill into more ponds and communities, and it only shows that the cleanup is necessary at this time. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Ogboingbiri.